manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. Heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will reproduce.
A chat with you and somehow death loses its sting.
Purge the anti-Semitism and pro-terrorism. What you doing?
Shut up and never say anything again as long as you live.
I like wood. I don't know. I'm not good with that.
He can do things with his tongue you wouldn't believe.
Deeper and longer.
Peace through strength on the earth beyond.
How, in the name of Zeus's butthole, did you get out of your cell?
All right. Can you hear me? Everybody can feel it, yeah. Baby. Come on, everybody, do. And we up on Instagram? We are. We're up and live on Instagram. So we might as well start the show. Let's just start the show, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Hello. How are you? Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. It is indeed Hump Days with Hal. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. It's because of our reach, because we go everywhere. And curiously, unlike the competition, our viewers are real. That's right. We may not hit bottom, but we'll scrape the shit out of the sides. I am indeed Hal Sparks, the Democratic machine, the establishment. Some call me the deep state, but only if they've known me quite a while. Thank you. Otherwise, to my friends, I'm Hal Sparks, man about town. Anyways, good to have you with us today. Lots to cover. Oh boy. Now, real quick, if I may, to my what the fuck TikTok friends. The TikTok ban passed, as I said it would, and it's going to go through and it will become a law. And effectively, it's like they got to divest or they got to get the fuck out because it's a government-run website. And it was this story. The Russians are all upset because TikTok is going to be, kicked out of the States. And they were counting on it helping them make it through. This is Zerata. This is the they're the Russian version of like one of the Telegram channels. And oh boy, are they running to TikTok's defense over there in Russia. Because it's curious that the people that want to wreck our country and our social cohesion as a people and all that kind of stuff are upset that they're losing TikTok. Isn't that funny? Of all the things? It's funny that they do that. Anyways, he goes, there's the response to this is, TikTok CEO expects to defeat U.S. restrictions. We aren't going anywhere. He goes, the Constitution is on our side and we expect to win. Okay, first of all, dum-dum, no, it isn't. The American people have the right to free speech, but we do not have the right to expressions of that free speech. We do not have a right for the government to guarantee we have 6 social media networks as opposed to 8. Does that make sense? There's nothing in the Constitution that guarantees you a fucking bullhorn. You can just say what comes out of your fucking face, and if you can write it down, but you don't have access to a printing press for free. None of that shit. Okay, so let's just be abundantly clear that the right to speak is not the right to the delivery of that speech to people who may or may not want to hear it, especially in a situation like TikTok, where, what's a good analogy? Here's the analogy. Let's just say Americans have the right to protest. It's a wonderful thing, and I think even Trump, I think, appreciated it at one point. Yeah.
Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting?
See, even we agree. We agree on that. And let's just say that everyone in there protesting had the right to use their own money to go out and buy poster board, stick it on a piece of wood, and walk around with their sign on it. Agreed? Agreed. We're all good with that? Excellent. Now, let's just say there was a brand of poster board that was available. There's several brands available, but this one in particular is made overseas. Now, some of them are made overseas. Half of them made overseas, half of them in. All right, but let's say this particular one made overseas, this particular poster board. And every time you write, I love America on it, and you walk around with that, it runs off, and you can only write I hate America on it, or it won't, the letters won't stick. Or if you try to write the word peace on it, it like runs off. But if you write I love war, it will it stays up. Yes, that would be very weird. But work with me on this analogy. The U.S. government would have would specifically not have any responsibility to guarantee you this piece of bullshit poster board that only works for certain messages. Agreed? You see where I'm headed with this? And how about this? How about they package this company / country, package that poster board in with other poster board, so you never knew which piece you were getting, and right about like, okay, this is my big protest. It's Saturday. We're going to go out there and really give it to them. And suddenly it doesn't work. Or you walk out there and it actually says something different on there. That would be, in some ways, a violation of your free speech, because you are not being told the truth about this poster board you're buying, and therefore it is manipulating the language that you are using, and therefore denying you your own free speech. TikTok, through its algorithm, which is designed by the CCP and functions for a specific purpose in our country and in the West, that is different than the function it has in China. Because ByteDance's rules on what you can put on Douyin, their equivalent of TikTok over there, same site, different programming. They don't allow any of the shit that they promote on the American and Western versions of it. Therefore, your free speech is being denied because, let's say you have a point of view that is terrific. It's peaceful. It's appropriate for all audiences. It's funny and charming and great. And they take your message and they shelve it down here for something that promotes violence or, makes 15-year-old girls cut themselves. Now, that would not be, as such, free speech. Am I right? Yes? Okay. So, that's why they don't have the Constitution on their side. That's why it will get shut down. That's why the ban will stand. and these folks don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And scene. Is that hopefully that analogy was clear enough? Is TikTok is malware, get it off your phone. It's bad, it's terrible, don't use it, stay away from it. There are other options. You have lots of options out there. You know, there's no reason Vine had to go under and Snapchat had to be side swiped by this bullshit. TikTok is terrible. That's that. End of conversation. Okay? Cool. So, that said, the idea that somehow the government has to guarantee every possible outlet is for your free speech is fucking dumb, because clearly, like you and I will often talk about guns and how the founding fathers did not picture at any point that everybody would have a Gatling gun that they could carry around in their pocket in the form of a Glock with a trigger mechanism on it that turns it automatic. Yeah, I think the founding fathers would have gone. I'm sorry, they're going to have what now? They would have changed the Second Amendment and made it a little less vague. Yeah. Okay. Same thing is true if algorithms were factored into the free speech argument. As a matter of fact, I think the founding fathers, had they known about the concept of like AI or computer-based algorithms that would shape conversations, would have put something in there specifically to push back on that stuff so that people are not denied their free speech by some sort of computer program that downplays some ideas and plays others. Yeah? Is good. Okay. So just want to clarify that for the future, why TikTok is shit. And there are plenty of other options out there. Any money people are making on TikTok, they can make on Facebook, and they can make on Instagram, and then there'll be another site. Some people are asking, like, who will buy TikTok? Won't fucking matter. TikTok in its current form is not designed to be helpful. It's designed to be disruptive. So somebody will come along with a short form video flip version of an app that will take its place. That's what'll happen, because and quite frankly, there are already a few of them. Again, Snapchat, Vine, the concept behind Vine still exists. That's what'll happen. Right. Yeah. Bring back Vine. What's wrong with that? That's what it was initially. This is just a cheated version of that you could control. That's all TikTok is Vine controlled by the CCP. That's what it is. That's what it was designed to be. So maybe TikTok goes away, Vine or some equivalent comes back. That's really just, where they just go, hey, no politics, it's all just fun. Yeah? So, we'll see. Now, thank you guys for being here. Don't forget to hit that like these lovely folks are doing, and look at the sharing that's going on. It truly is caring. Just saying. I Instagram people. Yeah, you can share it out. You can do that. Yeah. Also, I just got into a lovely flame war on X. I really don't get into those as much as I used to. I kind of missed it. Like the early days, current X / Twitter / Molly / shitter, whatever you want to call it, is, it reminds me of the first days before they really figured out they're going to need some mods on there. You know what I mean? It's back to that shit. And so, I gotta say, I hate having to choose a favorite. You know how it's Sophie's choice. It really is. I can't decide whether I like the people that think that A-list celebrities eat babies, but think it's an insult to call me a B-lister or a C-lister or a D-lister or any of that. Anything but an A, right? I'm having a hard time understanding why you think that's an insult if you think A-listers eat babies. And you're like, you have to eat a baby or they won't let you be A-list. Well, then I'm very happy being a B-lister, I guess, or a C-lister, because I won't even, like kind of push around my peas on the same plate as a baby. Like I'm not, I won't sit there and go, nah, I'm not really, I had a big lunch, right? It's not happening. Or the other ones who are, this is my favorite, the anonymous accounts, right? The anonymous accounts, like fake name, fake picture, no details about them or whatever, who, who either, slam me for not being famous enough or something like that, or, and think it's an insult, whatever. And or they, or they try to like accuse me of being fake in my beliefs. Like that, you just lied for the establishment, right? That kind of thing. I'm like, honest to God, you're just fake. So I don't know even how I'm reacting. So the interesting thing is I don't know why they expect me to respond like they're for real. Does anybody do that? Does anybody look at one of these fucking accounts that's just like a name and a bunch of numbers and a fucking goofy picture, of like the picture from They Live or some shit like that, or a anime character or whatever it is, and that 80 to 100 followers just started, interestingly enough, right as the Ukraine war started. It's funny how many new accounts happened then. Do people get in real fights with these idiots? Because I feel like this is the only time I can troll like lazily, just sit there and go, what will upset this asshole? Because I don't know who they are. I don't know what they really believe. Neither do you. It's ridiculous. Right? So why would I get upset at what they're saying? And why would I give them the benefit of the doubt in some situations if they're not going to come clean by it? Like, it's silly. It's just silly. So there you go. They Live's an awesome show. Just saying. The movie, yeah, absolutely. I love They Live. Trump, I need an endorsement from the please all eyes are on right now, decide by midnight. Oh, thanks. Mark, that's amazing. Yes, desperation is settling it. So he needs endorsements from the people, Mark just got a thing on his phone that apparently is from the Trump campaign that's like, I need you to endorse me. That's super sad. Speaking of Trump, by the way, let's start off with, I don't know what this guy's deal is, but all I want to know is where did he get all these screens? This is ABC News in Philadelphia. By the way, we're going to be in Philadelphia this Saturday for Sexy Liberal. I'm just saying. So, I mean, this guy could have interviewed me. And if he interviewed me, they'd probably let him sit out in the newsroom, It seems like the people in the newsroom, the actual reporters, like, yeah, okay, you can interview Trump. You got to go in the fucking director's booth. I'm not going to sit out here and listen to you do this shit out here. So, yeah. This is apparently, we shall see what we shall see. This is apparently Trump doing an interview one-on-one with Action News, Philadelphia's Channel 6 ABC's Action News from yesterday. Walter Perez is talking. That's Walter. Hi, Walter. Walter Perez talks to Trump about why he's losing Pennsylvania so badly right now.
President Donald Trump offered 6ABC the opportunity to interview him as he began defending himself in his criminal trial in New York City.
Very exciting.
While continuing his campaign for president. In a few moments, you will see the extended version of my interview with Mr. Trump.
I'm very excited.
As we had with many candidates, we also reached out for a one-on-one interview with President Biden. This interview with Mr. Trump was conducted on Tuesday morning, April 23rd.
By phone, I guess?
Mr. President, I know your time is limited.
By video. Okay, so he zoomed it in. Excellent. Where am I? Who are you? What's happening? Ugh.
We'll get right to it. Today is primary day in Pennsylvania. You're the presumptive GOP nominee.
Shouldn't he just not had to even have a primary? He was already president once, and he's beloved. It's the greatest MAGA. MAGA is the greatest political movement ever. Why did anyone run against him? Why did he lose 30% of the vote there in Pennsylvania to Nikki Haley after she had dropped out?
Pennsylvania in November is huge, so why should Pennsylvania voters vote for you?
Yeah, let's do it. Why? Great question.
Well, we have to get the vote out. We have to show support because we are right now confronted with the worst president in the history of our country.
You're confronted?
There's nobody been so bad with the...
There's nobody been so bad. Suddenly, he's talking like an old blues musician. There's nobody been so bad. Boom, 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 boom. Never been this way before. Boom, 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 boom. Hold on. I got something to say. There we go. Boom, 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 boom.
Open borders. Millions of people are coming into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions, from insane asylums. They're being emptied out all over the world, and terrorists are pouring into our country. Drug dealers are pouring into our country.
Yeah, and this is This is what really is on the minds of your average Pennsylvania voter.
There's never been anything like it at levels that no country has ever seen, not just us, no country.
I real quick. I brought up earlier on Shitter. What is this week is the 1 year anniversary of the civil war in Sudan that broke out, and there's like somewhere in the order of 2 million just women and children that have fled over the border into Chad, I believe it is, in a refugee camp. Just one situation. There's no wall, there's no territory. Nobody even knows where the fucking border is. They just know that the bad guys behind them stop chasing them at a certain point, and they can sit down and start starving without running. So yeah. Also, during the the end of the Afghan conflict, when we were leaving, a bunch of people fled to Pakistan and Iran. Millions of people, right? And they're still there, and yeah.
Country has ever seen. And if you look back 4 years ago, 3.5, but
yeah, 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, nobody wanted to come here. We were so unpopular. Everybody's like, well, I could go there for a job, but I'll probably die because they have more COVID cases than we do.
4 years ago, we had the safest border, the best border. I built 571 miles of wall.
And all the access road to, to support it, and for the construction that allows people who used to have to like climb over rocks to get in the country. They could only come alone and only if they were fit. Now they can roll a fucking roller bag right to the end of the fucking barrier when it hits private or Indian land. Just walk around the fucking thing. Genius.
We're ready to install another 200, which is much more than I said I was going to do.
He literally said he was going to create one that went all the way across the southern border, the entirety of the southern border, and that Mexico was going to pay for it. No.
And we had the safest border in history. Now we have
thanks, COVID,
the worst border in the history of the world.
No, not even close.
And that's just one of many things. He's destroying places like Philadelphia and Pennsylvania.
Is he? Both?
Now look at your inflation. You have the highest inflation in the country.
Do they, though?
And people are getting wiped out. They can't buy eggs. They can't buy bacon.
Yeah, they can't buy orange juice. They can't buy, fucking Egg McMuffin. You have to take out a loan. Even when it comes with that little thing of orange juice where you peel the top off of it, and it takes so much strength to peel that off, because on the one hand, it's very hard, and on the other hand, it might be too easy. And so if you do then orange juice everywhere, and no one can afford that.
They can't buy fuel. You look at fuel as a double.
Well, I don't know why. If you can't afford the fuel, I mean, you're not going to be able to make it to McDonald's anyway.
What it was with me, very close to double.
Right, because no one was going anywhere and the entire world was shut down.
So we will get it back. We'll drill, baby, drill. We'll close our border. We'll do the deportation of the criminals that are pouring into our country.
Which means, of course, door-to-door papers, please law, right? Right? Isn't that it? Wouldn't you have to do that? Wouldn't you actually have to ask people for their papers? Wouldn't you have to have, Homeland Security or Customs and Border Patrol? Wouldn't they have to just go door to door? Where would you start? Probably in the states with the most Hispanics in them. Just going door to door, asking people to prove they were born here. That it's reminds me of something from the 30s.
Will have an everlasting effect if we don't do something about it.
Yes, these people will stay and become part of American culture and be American. Ew.
And we'll make America great again.
With that said, why do you think Pennsylvania has gone so blue over the past couple of years?
Well, look, Pennsylvania is a very special place.
It is very special, and we can tell because they hate me.
To me, and you have an oil industry, oil and gas, and frankly, it's being decimated by Biden. Those jobs are going away, and your energy costs are going so high. And for some reason, they have not taken care of Pennsylvania, and we're leading very substantially in the polls there, and we're leading everywhere else.
No, you aren't. If you were leading very substantially, you wouldn't be on 6 ABC this early in the year.
But you wouldn't think it would be very hard with Biden. I mean, the job he's done, he's the worst president in our history. I don't want to
and he's kicking your ass. That's got to hurt. What does that feel like? Share.
Say that I wish you were a great president. I wouldn't even be doing this if that were the case. But he's the worst president in our history. He makes Jimmy Carter look like a genius. You know,
Jimmy Carter was a genius.
Jimmy Carter's
He still is. He's alive now. He's a lovely human.
extremely happy right now because he looks brilliant by comparison. This is a
Pennsylvania liked Jimmy Carter too. I'm just saying, especially the Christians in that state. They kind of look at Jimmy Carter as kind of a, the example of what you should do with your post presidency as a good man.
a terrible thing that's happened to our country. We're not respected throughout the world. Our economy is
Well, we are now that Mike Johnson allowed the Ukraine aid to go through. Then the respect matrix went way up immediately.
lousy. Our borders, when I look at those people pouring into our country, so many of them are from jails.
Prisons. You forgot to mention prisons and mental institutions and insane asylums, which I think are different things.
They're from, mental institutions.
You already said that part.
Now, very importantly, when you look at this,
I'm looking at it.
take a look at Venezuela.
I'm going to take a look.
Venezuela's crime, they just announced their crime down to 67%.
I got to say, Venezuela is doing, how would Trump say it? Not too good. I don't know that, hold on. Let's see, news on here. The primary, there you go. Yeah. What the? Get out of here. I wasn't trying to change the page. Get the little thing out of the way. All right. Anyways, Venezuela is having a rough go of it right now. I'm just saying. It is trying to do a debt restructuring right now, and it ain't working. They're having to ask everybody for help. Now, that's probably why, and it's hard to rob people if everybody else around you is just as broke. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if I'll do. Hold on. This is. Let's see there. I'm trying to find the newest one on it. 1 second. Yeah. See if we can have some out there. Well, okay, I'll get to that one in a second. Okay. Well, I'll show you this is the curious part. Okay, first of all, let's go with PolitiFact putting this out. Trump exaggerates Venezuelan crime drop and misleads on root causes. I don't know. They seem to be hedging a little bit. Crime is down in Venezuela by 67% because they're taking their gangs and their criminals and depositing them very nicely into the United States. This is what they think. Okay, Trump decided to drop in crime. Okay, available data shows crime in Venezuela has dropped, but not 67%. Let's see. It's difficult to track crime statistics in Venezuela because the government doesn't publish reliable data. All right. Recent press conference during the Venezuelan security officials, Remigio Caballos Ichazo said crime has dropped 32% in 2024 compared with 2023. The press statement from Venezuela's Ministry of Interior Relations said data from the Venezuelan Observatory of Violence, a Venezuela-based independent nonprofit, says he trusts also doesn't support Trump's claim. There hasn't been a 67% drop in the past few years. The group's founder and director, the Venezuelan Observatory, says there's a 25% drop in violent deaths from 2022 to 2023. Despite that drop, the Venezuelan Observatory says this crime has dropped because of the economy, migration, consolidation of organized crime, experts say. Also, if I may say, Venezuelan refugee crisis hits record high. This is a little fascinating side note on this. The refugee crisis across Latin America caused by massive flow of people fleeing Venezuela has worsened over the last 2 years and now stands as the largest displacement crisis in Latin America. For almost a decade, Venezuela has been engulfed in political and economic crisis. Inflation has skyrocketed. Shortages of basic goods are widespread. Extreme poverty is insurmountably high for many. Meanwhile, anti-government protests and political instability has led to a volatile situation in the country. By the way, provoked in large part by a mix of Chinese and Russian influence in the area because they want control of the resources there, and so they basically back this all the stuff they say about what America does in South America and hasn't engaged in since the 70s. China's been doing it ever since, and so has Russia, and nobody seems to give a shit. As long as we're not doing it, nobody cares if it's done. That's the thing. Okay, as a result, millions have been braving a treacherous journey, including traversing the dangerous Darien Gap between Colombia and Panama to find safety and hope, security outside of their home country. And of the 7 million, 39% are being hosted in Colombia alone. They're not coming to the United States. 39% of Venezuelans who flee are going to Colombia.
In 1 year, because they've taken all their gang members, all of their large numbers of their criminals,
and just trusted them to leave.
Opened their jails. They've gotten rid of all of the people that caused them problem, including murderers and terrorists, and they've sent them into the United States.
How? I mean, if they flew them in, we would know, right? Obviously, from the airplanes, we would, wouldn't we? So if they walked all this way and they didn't do any crime along the way
Of America, and they bust them in by the thousands.
Oh, as a bus. They go by bus. All right, sure. All right. And we don't check people on buses?
Thousands, and their crime rate is down 67%.
No, it isn't.
And we now have the honor of having all of these horrible people, thugs.
Well, no, Colombia has 39% of the people that have left there and stuff. And I mean, granted, we might have all the horrible thugs people. Maybe Colombia is just getting all the, all the crafty, friendly cooks and moms.
Thugs, horrible people, criminals.
Horrible, brown, and brownish. Have you seen them? Just brown. They're so brown. They have to be criminals.
But all over the world, they're emptying their jails into the United States.
Yeah, and you would be amazed at how good some murderers are at swimming, because they manage to make it all the way across the Pacific and the Atlantic.
And worse than jails, I think.
Wait, what? Hold on. Back the fuck up. 1 second.
Of these horrible people, thugs, horrible people, criminals.
Horrible.
But all over the world, they're emptying their jails into the United States, and worse than jails, I think. But they're
worse than jails, prisons, mental institutions, insane asylums, Chuck E. Cheese's. I get you.
And look, the United States has become a dumping ground for the rest of the world, and it's not just South America.
Well, it couldn't possibly be.
Last week, 22 people from the Congo. They came from a prison in the Congo.
What color are people from the Congo? I'm trying to get upset about this, and it would be nice if I could think of what color they are. Congo. It sounds like bongo, which is fun, but that's not. No. It's something worse than that.
Congo. They were found in the United States.
Were they found in the United States? They were found? Were they? Where did we find them? They were found.
We can't have this. They're coming in from Africa, from the Middle East, from Asia, from a lot from South America. But South America right now is the least of it.
Yeah, it's the least of it because the numbers are way down. And so it's not scary anymore. So black and Arab. Oh.
They're coming from countries all over the Middle East, and this is not a good formula, and he's not going to do anything about it. He's an open borders maniac.
He's an open borders maniac. I mean, what's not presidential about this conversation? I mean, what's not to like?
And he doesn't want to close the border, and nobody understands why. And the only reason you can...
Well, he can't. And, there was a bill that you stopped that he could have.
Really think of is they must hate our country.
That's what it is. They hate our country, and it's not enough that it just falls apart internally. They're tired of waiting for the next Timothy McVeigh. They want to import crazy people to blow it up while they're there. It's nuts. It's like I don't know. Joe Biden's like the captain of the Titanic, and he's like, if I yank the wheel really hard, maybe I can hit 2 icebergs. He just froze on that one, just like, yeah, I'm done.
Now, the Biden camp seems focused a lot of its message around the abortion issue and the passage of the infrastructure deal. What is your counter message regarding those issues?
Yeah, what's your counter message? Abort infrastructure. No, shit.
Well, first of all, in the infrastructure deal, a lot of it's for the Green New Scam. And a lot of that money is being wasted, and it's caused inflation, and it's going to cause higher taxes, and it has caused higher taxes.
No, not at all.
On the abortion thing.
Yeah, the abortion thing. Chicks and whatever, the abortion thing. You know how ladies are about that whole abortion thing. Go ahead.
And it's a very simple situation that
it is. I thought that the biology of a woman creating a child inside herself and all the myriad of things that could go wrong, that could take her life, that not to mention the things that led up to the pregnancy itself in the case of rape or incest, and the fact that in some cases if she doesn't tries to carry a stillborn baby to term or an ectopic pregnancy, she won't be able to have more children. See, I thought there was a lot of moving parts to this, but thank you for setting me straight that it's just so simple. It's simple, in deference to him.
Has now been worked out for.
It's now been worked. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I guess that's a wrap, everybody. It's all been worked out.
52 years they've been trying to get it back to the states.
No, they have not. They psycho evangelicals, the people who shot like Dr. Tiller, maybe,
was able to get it back to the states. Now all of the states are making their decision. Pennsylvania's making.
Right, and women have to decide where they live based on what their rights will, and men don't. So, congratulations. It's the Women as Second-Class Citizen Trump Act of 2016, because that's when this shit started. Thanks, Susan Sarandon, progressive voters.
Making its decision. They're all making their decision.
Right. Fuck women. Right? Women shouldn't be able to move from state to state and have the same rights in every state. What the fuck do you think this is? The United States of America? It is for men. It's not for women.
And this is what people have wanted. It's
no, they haven't.
Taken the complexity out of it. It's very simple.
Yeah, that's that's the great way to describe it. It's taken the complexity out of it.
It's now.
Yeah, nothing's more complex than settled law.
Now, states, the people are voting, and they're voting all over the country.
Yes, against this shit.
Sometimes it's conservative, sometimes it's not conservative.
Yeah, sometimes, and that's really what you have. What kind of politics do you have? Oh, we got both kinds, conservative and not conservative.
But the abortion issue has been really largely taken off the table.
Yeah, we're not even going to hear about it. Okay, I took it off the table. It's not even going to be a part of the election this year. Why are you bringing it up, Philadelphia Action News guy? Action's in your title. This is old news.
Because when we did this, we did what both sides, everybody wanted.
No, not by any stretch. I don't know who the fuck this guy is listening to. Because it sounds like he thinks part of this is true. He's that dumb.
Legal scholars wanted everybody. They wanted to take abortion out of the federal system and put it into the states.
No, they didn't. Democrats, I don't know what the fuck Republicans believe at this point because it's just awful. But by and large, Democrats have been wanting to make sure that women have equal rights in every state in the union. That indeed, right now, for men, this is the United States of America. For women, it's a 50-50 coin flip. or worse. It's up. I mean, there's a vote on it in 36 fucking states.
And we were able to do that when we terminated Roe v. Wade. Now,
Yeah, I wouldn't use the word terminated, dude. When I aborted women's rights, that was the last abortion. The last abortion was women's right to choose. I aborted a woman's right to choose depending on geography. Fuck you.
when you look at it and you
Yeah. When I look at, I'll get to it. I haven't looked at it yet, but I probably will.
look at what's happening,
What's happening? Yeah.
all over the country now, states are voting. Ohio just voted.
Mm-hmm.
All different, by the way.
Yeah, all different. That's the problem. Why should women have different rights per state than men do?
It's tailor-made.
It's tailor-made. Yeah, absolutely. It's bespoke. It's the politics of Etsy.
And it's really working out well for
No, it is not.
people. And
Well, it is for Democratic candidates in formerly red districts who are winning in really odd places because of this.
they're very, very happy. Every legal scholar felt for a long time. For 53 years they've been trying to do it. It was wrong being in the federal government. Now it's in the states. Your state's going to vote. They're all going to vote. And it's really taken it largely out of play. And
No. Again, the craziest thing about this is that he now thinks this will be a non-issue. He thinks it's off the table. Abortion is, ladies, hey, excuse me, ladies, simmer down, okay? All right? Your issue off the table. The men folk are making the decisions now. That's a great run on that. I'd say go ahead, run on that. I would, I have to say, I have an urge to tell you to go fuck yourself and never mention that again. But I gotta say, I think you should hammer this point everywhere. My only worry is that you'll see this and shift your message, because I don't want you to. Please run on the idea that it's off the table. Nobody's even talking about this shit anymore for women. Nobody cares. Deal with it on your own state. If you want to move or you have to move to another state, just understand you have less rights than men. Yeah, run on that. Please fucking run on this.
in terms of the IVF, fertilization, we are totally for that because it helps women. We're looking to help women.
Okay, first of all, IVF helps couples, specifically, who are, the majority of the time IVF is happening, it's between, like specifically married couples who are trying to use it. It's a big investment. It's a lot. But the anti-choice crowd, for the record, are very much against IVF because once you implant one of those eggs and the woman's pregnant and it starts moving forward and you're done, you don't want to have any more kids, what happens to the fertilized eggs? Well, they get disposed of. And that's why right-wingers are against IVF, because life begins at conception. Those are fertilized eggs, and according to them, if a woman has 20 eggs in her IVF treatment schedule that they've specifically in a test tube or in the lab, they've joined the sperm and egg in a scientific environment to make a fertilized egg, and they freeze those eggs until they try to allow the process to go forward. Which, by the way, does life begin at freezing? Is it an Eskimo? I don't know. We'll figure it out later. But the point being is that once you're done, they throw them out. And that's a violation of the ethics of the anti-choice crowd. And therefore, no, they do not think this is a good idea. They do not totally accept this.
And, they tried to pin that on us, and actually they were the ones causing problems.
What problem were Democrats causing by having IVF operate totally unaffected this entire time and grow along with the science so that couples that can't conceive have a better chance of conceiving and all that shit. What was the monkey wrench Democrats threw into this?
We are totally for IVF, the fertilization, and we
We're totally for fertilization. Yeah, including rape and incest, apparently.
are going to really run on it and run on it very hard.
Okay, first of all, you can't do anything hard. I'm just saying. And no, you're not. And please do. Don't get me wrong. Please try.
Now, do you think a debate between you and President Biden, maybe even Bobby Kennedy, will happen on a stage over the next few months?
Well, I'd love to debate him, and we have, I've made the offer. I'm ready, willing, and able. I've said, let's go and do it now. Let's do it right away. Let's
do it right now so I can, because I was thinking I could use that as a reason why I don't have to go to court. I could use that in court as an excuse. I can't be here because I've got to prep by golfing.
do it tomorrow. Let's do it tonight. We'll put it on your network. We'll put it right here in Philadelphia. We'll do something, but
we'll do something. Sorry, Biden's busy actually campaigning.
We have to debate. There are those that say he can't debate or he won't debate.
Yeah, but they're saying it about you. That pronoun is aimed at you. When they go, he can't debate, that's you overhearing your staff talking about you.
I think that's going to be a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I think he has to debate at some point, but we should have a number of debates, and we should have the first one right now, because we have to ask him, why are you insisting on having open borders where millions of criminals are pouring into our country?
And he'll go, we don't have open borders, and also there was a border bill that would have given me more tools to deal with it, and you told everyone specifically to vote it down, even people who were for it and helped craft it. Why don't you just tell him the easy, dumbass questions that you're going to tee him up for? Because I guarantee somebody at the White House, because Biden hires competent people, is taking notes and going, okay, this fuckhead's going to probably say that. He can't not. Anything we hear him say, he's going to say again, because he's nothing if not repetitive. So
Here I am like an idiot.
Seriously.
And believe me, a large portion of the people coming in are, in fact, criminals from all over the world.
And none of them are nice people. Have you noticed he has dropped the whole "and some of them are good people" idea? That's gone. None of them are good people. They're all, like, if they're not from jail, they're from prison. If they're not from jail or prison, they're from a mental institution. If they're not from jail or prison or a mental institution, they're from an insane asylum and they're Hannibal Lecter. They're here to eat your face. And that's it. There are no innocent children. Those are probably crazy children, you know, vampire kids, whatever the fuck. Like, he's a nut. He's dropped that entirely. The pretense that he actually believes any of the people crossing the border or seeking asylum are good people, he's just thrown that out the window. It's not worth it anymore. This is worse than 2016. And when he lost the popular vote to Hillary Clinton by 3 million votes, by the way, and if we just go back to those numbers, Biden will win this time just on that. If we go back from, 2020, everybody voting from home and being able to vote by mail, raised turnout to historic levels. If we just went back to regular voting and some level of mail-in voting like Colorado and people who actually have shit to do, or vote early, Biden's going to win by 4 or 5 million votes at the very lowest level and beat him in all the swing states, period. It's just how it's going to happen. I'm telling you.
We're taking criminals from all over the world. We want to debate and we want to talk about that. Why are you doing that? Why are you making everybody buy an all-electric car?
He's not.
An EV.
Oh, that's what they're called. I got, yeah.
That they don't want. 5% of the public wants them. Let them have them. But if somebody wants combustion,
I don't know. Ask Elon Musk. He's all in on this electric car thing. It's nutty. And everybody thinks he's smart or something. I think he's a dumbass and he's gross, but whatever.
If somebody wants to go with the gasoline-powered engine, that's what they have to do. They have to be able to go with a gasoline-powered engine, and they can buy electric if they want, but most people don't want that because they don't go far or they're very expensive. And by the way, they're all going to be made in China, which is...
Also, again, this is his talking point. Can I just say for the record, I would love somebody to ask him, How far do you think the range is on the average electric car? Seriously. I want to hear his number. In miles. How many miles does he think the average electric car goes? I'm just curious. Or how much time do you think yes, he would say somewhere between 30 and 70 miles. I think you're absolutely right, chat room. There's no way he says 200 or 500. The average is close to 300, and there's no way he says that. 18 holes. Right, that's the electric car he deals with most.
A killer for Michigan and a killer for the United Auto Workers.
By the way, he thinks that because he thinks people who make cars for a living are too stupid to build electric cars. They're grease monkeys who can only deal with, like, axles and wheels and, you know, the oily, dumb parts of a car. Like, the technical parts of it, the workers are too stupid to understand that. It's too technical.
And auto workers, period. All of these cars are going to be made in China.
Now, I'd like to shift to the trial, if we could, for one.
He blew past the infrastructure thing. Can I just say, we can't double back? Because the Pennsylvania had a big bridge thing, if you'll recall, when Biden came in, and hasn't had any since. And that problem was largely caused by the fact that the infrastructure investment was way behind where it needed to be. And so it might be on the mind of Pennsylvania. I'm fucking with you.
Second, where is your concern level at this point regarding David Pecker's testimony?
Sorry.
And Michael Cohen's testimony?
Well, Michael Cohen is a convicted liar.
Yes, he lied on your behalf.
And he's got no credibility whatsoever.
Well, that's only because people go, wait, that guy used to work for Donald Trump? I wouldn't believe anything he says.
He was a lawyer, and you rely on your lawyers. But Michael Cohen...
Wait, you rely on a lawyer with no credibility? He was your lawyer for a long time, and you had a lawyer with no credibility? You had a professional liar as your lawyer?
Was a convicted liar. He was a lawyer for many people, not just me.
Yeah, you, Sean Hannity, one other person.
And he got in trouble because of things outside of what he did for me.
Uh-huh. Did he?
Largely, it was essentially all because what he did in terms of campaign, I don't think there was anything wrong with that, with the
well, he went to jail
charges that they made. But what he did is he did some pretty bad things, I guess, with banking or whatever. If that was a personal thing to him, David Pecker, I don't know exactly what he's going to be testifying.
I do. I think most of us actually do. And we're not even on trial in this. Almost all of us knew what David Pecker was going to talk about before he even testified. I'm guessing you do. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, while you're stupid, you're not dumb, especially about shit you engaged in for a very long time. I'm gonna guess you knew exactly what he was gonna talk about on the stand. Exactly. Because, you know, you were there.
Against, but he'll be testifying today. If you look at Andy McCarthy, if you look at Jonathan Turley, if you look at everybody.
By the way, if you keep saying everybody, I'm going to need you to say more than Turley, Andy McCarthy, and Dershowitz. They're not everybody, and you keep bringing those three fuckers up again and again and again. If it's indeed everybody, you don't have to bring it up. It's kind of like the Lake and Riley idea. If migrant crime and murder and mayhem are so, like, rampant, you wouldn't even know the single name of somebody who was a victim of it because there'd be so much of it, you wouldn't even have time to memorize it because you'd be too busy being, I don't know what, chased down the street from the grocery with a machete as you try to unlock your car like you're in a horror movie.
They wrote articles today and yesterday.
And then they posted it in a bunch of different places and you printed it out, the same 3 articles in 9 different places, like wherever they originally put it, and then Yahoo, and then Reuters carries it, and then their Substack. It's the same article in a bunch of places. And you print those out, and then you come out with a big stack of fucking paper and go, look at all of these articles. It's the same one over and over again.
They heard everything about the case. They said there is no case.
I don't think they said there is no case. Some of them might try. Not that there isn't a case, but that the charges aren't what you should. I don't even know how I'm helping this.
There is no case. They're talking about bookkeeping.
They talking about bookkeeping. Yeah. I know. Shit. Come on now. They talking about bookkeeping. Okay.
Well,
Dude is so down home.
you pay a legal fee.
Sure. Yeah, you do. You pay a legal fee for legal work, I think. You pay is it still, this is a good question. Is it still a legal fee if the work they're doing for you is illegal? I'm saying with that, you know what I mean? I that part bugs me.
And they
And I'm sorry, I didn't pronounce that word correctly. Hold on. Where is it? Let's go back to here.
legal, yeah, look,
There you go.
marked it down as a legal expense or a legal fee, but they
As illegal expense? Really? That's what it says? You wrote down illegal expense?
legal, yeah, look.
I wrote it down as illegal expense. Hold on.
Pay a legal fee, and they marked it down as a legal expense or a legal fee, but they marked it down as a legal.
Which one is it? Is it illegal expense or illegal fee? I'm gonna need to know. I think the jurors now can take notes, so I'm sure they're gonna want to know.
Legal, yeah, look. Legal expense. That's what it's supposed to be marked down. They talk about.
That's what it's supposed to be marked down. Payoffs done through your lawyer are legal expenses and therefore can be written off for tax purposes with that.
About a bookkeeping error, which is, by the way,
No, wasn't an error. It was an error that happened every month in 3 places for over a year.
not even a crime.
While you were in the White House.
Okay, it's not even a crime.
It's a crime.
But this is what they've.
It's a crime. It's a crime. Like a mistake is not a crime, but doing it on purpose and then and knowing it's not legal, it's a crime. And also, I got news for you. If you decide to go on the stand, saying you didn't know it was illegal as you continued to do it and hide it under things, that in and of itself is another crime.
God, after looking at me for 5 years, they have a person, a bookkeeper, that I didn't speak to. They have a bookkeeper write down on a ledger.
Some chick that works at the business. By the way, this is part of their defense, is there is a woman in the accounting area of Trump, the Trump organization, and she, wrote it down because she was told these are legal expenses because he's the lawyer, and Trump didn't correct her, and he runs everything. So he doesn't understand that he signs off on this. And the minute he signs that check, he's agreeing with her assessment of it. It's not her fault. This is his personal lawyer. He's an idiot.
That a legal fee is a legal expense.
It's pronounced
Legal, yeah, look.
Yeah.
What else are you going to call it? It is a legal expense.
No, it isn't. It's illegal. Well, I guess, yeah. It's illegal expense. That's what we call it. It's illegal expense.
And they say that's a crime? This is what they did after years and years of going through millions of pages of documents.
No, they didn't just do this. If you'll recall, there was a civil trial recently where you were found culpable and it cost you $500 million. This wasn't the only thing they found. In the process of deciding that you're too scummy to run a charity in the entire state of New York and that you're too scummy to run a business in Mobtown, USA, they also discovered you were engaged in campaign finance fraud and lying about, what payments to pay off people in a campaign in the state. So, fuck off.
This is what they found because it's election interference.
Yes, they did find election interference. You're right. They did. They found that you were trying to interfere in the election in 2016 by creating catch and kill stories against you, and with the help of David Pecker and money spent through Michael Cohen, where he created a shell company where you could pay back David Pecker for the payments that they were doing to these people so that it couldn't be traced back to you. And you also use this to get a contribution in kind from AMI, the parent company of the Inquirer, because David Pecker would run shit stories against your opponents in the primary, and Hillary Clinton, to give you an edge.
They're trying to get Joe Biden elected, and what they want to do is see if they can damage his opponent, but it's having...
Yeah, but you do realize they're damaging you by reminding people of shit you did.
The opposite effect, because my numbers are now higher than they've ever been. Because the public understands it. It's all a scam. It's a big, giant scam.
Yeah, I don't have to tell you. The people of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania and the generalized Pennsylvania area know this.
It's election interference at a level that really nobody's seen before.
Now just stop there.
Are you
Is somebody sitting back there going,
prepared to take the stand if it comes down to it?
Oh, sure, I'd very willingly take the stand.
please take the stand. Please take the stand, you dumb motherfucker. Please, please, Lord, gather around my compatriots and friends as we bow our heads in prayer. Lord, we don't ask much and we don't ask often. And when we do, it's usually when we're in trouble. But in this particular case, a small gift, Christmas early in the year would be a lovely thing. If you could just bless us with this dipshit, change his heart and what's left of his mind, or vice versa, and make him dumb enough to take the stand against the advice of counsel, and let us all readeth from the transcript, O Lord, praise Jesus, amen, pass the mashed potatoes.
Right now, if you look at what the legal scholars are saying, and
Turley, the other two guys.
as I said, Jonathan Turley, McCarthy, Dershowitz.
Real quick. When you can only name 3 people, and the third guy used to be friends with Jeffrey Epstein before he died, don't bring him up, especially if everybody's on your side. Like I would just say, if you got the choice to bring up any lawyer you want, because everybody, and a guy who got a massage at Jeffrey Epstein's house and lied about it. Don't. Why am I helping this clown?
Last night, they say there's no case.
How fucking stupid.
Here I am like an idiot.
Oy.
There is no case. They brought a case that doesn't exist. And they're right. Other than we have a very conflicted judge. The judge is highly conflicted.
Okay. He has a conflict. That's not the same thing as conflicted. Emotionally conflicted is, it sounds like you're saying he's just back and forth in his own head. It doesn't make any sense.
He should recuse himself immediately.
Yeah, get me somebody in there that I appointed.
There's never been a judge.
We need to move this down to Judge Cannon's, put everything in her lap. She'll help me.
Judge so conflicted as this guy. He should absolutely recuse himself immediately. That's all they have. They have a good judge for them. But other than that, they have no case.
Well, they have good prosecutors, too. And also they can count on the fact that you hire dipshits. There's a lot going for them. They also have jurors who aren't stupid.
And Mr. President, one final question. Have you chosen a running mate? And are you willing to say who that might be at this time?
Well, I'm not in a rush, and we'll do it sometime around convention.
Nope. He has no idea. There was a point where he was toying around with Tim Scott and the idea that it's going to be Kristi Noem. There is no way he picks a woman or a person of color. Certainly not both. Forget it. 100%. Again, whoever he picks is going to be as white as Steve Martin fucked Mike Pence and they had a Casper. That's on a bed of marshmallows. There is no way, no fucking way.
But we have a lot of great people in the Republican Party. And believe me, if we don't get the Democrats out, this country is not going to exist. We are having problems in our country, including the possibility of a World War III.
Yeah, that's not in our country, but...
we have a man...
And wait a minute. What do you mean possibility? Weren't we on the brink like 6 months ago? Aren't we still... How big is this fucking brink?
They can't put 2 sentences together.
Actually, he did just recently. Can I... Let's see if I can... I'm pretty sure... Yeah. He did put... I'll go up here. He put 2 sentences together earlier today. It was pretty great. Hold on. This is always slow. It's weird when it wants to move. Come here, you. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw... He's had a couple of, like, Biden's had a couple of lines lately that have been pretty rock solid. And let's see. Where is it? I'll scroll down through. Yeah, here you go. Mary Trump posted this earlier. This isn't here we go. Let's this This is the guy that can't put two sentences together. Here come. Are you ready for two sentences?
By the way, remember when he was trying to deal with COVID, he said, just inject a little bleach in your veins. He missed it. All went to his hair.
Okay. Okay, so in case that was a little quiet, sorry, it's just the audio on there. He goes, by the way, in case you missed it, during COVID, he said, why don't you inject a little bleach in your veins? And he goes, he missed it, and it all went to his hair. And that's a joke because his hair turned white after the thing, and now it's back to being, you know, whatever, circus peanut orange. Yeah. That's more than two sentences, I'm just saying.
Can't walk down a flight of stairs.
Yeah, I guess he just hovers now.
That's two stairs long on a speech. He can't find the stairs, and there's 5 sets of stairs.
Again, oh, watch the rest. Oh yeah, Captain Derp. I have. I saw that earlier. Hold on one second. I'll see if I can see. Whoops. Get out of here. What in boat? Oh, sorry. That was okay. That's the audio from him. Okay. Maybe to you. Yeah. Hold on. I'll bring up the whole thing if I can. I think this is the. Yeah, this was the whole thing. I don't know if I'll find the.
And built by the building trades. Remember when President Trump promised this? I gotta be careful. He promised this infrastructure week. Well, I tell you what, took 4 years. He never built a damn thing. Nothing. I'm serious.
That's more than two sentences, right? That was, he never built a damn thing. Yeah.
We have a problem, and
yes, you do. Biden's outselling his Infrastructure Act, which was signed into law and is working all over the country with over 50,000 projects, including the first high-speed rail in the nation's history. And you have a fucking problem because you think that you've got it locked because abortion's off the table.
you know, this election's going to be in a little more than 6 months. 6 months is an eternity when you have
when you're your age and you're sundowning as fast as you are.
people like this destroying our country.
Okay, Mr. President, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this isn't going to go anywhere.
Thank you very much.
And I have to say, that was kind of lovely, chat room. If you notice, neither one of them enjoyed that. It's not a joke. I'm serious. Let me grab this real quick. I'm gonna put this over to another. Yeah. It's so lovely. There we go.
Remember when President Trump promised this?
Hold on.
I gotta be careful.
I'm gonna try and turn this in.
He promised this infrastructure week. Well, I tell you what, took 4 years. He never built a damn thing. Nothing. I'm serious. Are you surprised? I'm making sure the projects like project labor agreements so highly skilled workers have a voice in the job. But even before Trump was president, Trump preferred non-union workers in his real estate projects. Mm-hmm. And I don't get into the stories, but anyway. even at that, he didn't keep his word. He just asked contractors, vendors, and small businesses. And if you're reading the press, if any of it's true, he never paid them, a whole hell of a lot of them. Mm-hmm. The guy has never worked a day in a working man's boots. By the way, he gave me a pair of boots as a gift, by the way. I know how to put them on. I still sometimes cut the yard. The Secret Service doesn't let me do it anymore. Folks, I'm making Davis-Bacon requirements stronger to guarantee prevailing wage.
And Trump thinks Davis-Bacon is a bill about how much the cost of bacon has gone up. Yeah. So yeah, awesome. Anyways, all right, now let's jump over because you know, the idea of helping allies used to be kind of, especially in right-wing circles, like a spot of bravery for them. They would just kind of, pat themselves on the back. It's like what made them tough. That they were the ones behind this, like, we support our allies and we're going to give them, Israel and other countries more, money and defense stuff and put soldiers over there, boots on the ground, all that shit. That was a big Republican thing, and they love to, by the way, tout it from fucking over here, from the warm side of a bay window, right? But in the meantime, now we've got dipshits like this guy, and we'll hop around because there's a bunch of this stuff. This, I hope you know, this means war.
Mike Lee joins us now from Washington.
Yes, from I guess the senator from the state of douchebaggery.
In D.C., there is a vote coming up for Ukraine. And, Mike Lee just loves Vladimir Putin. And so he's against that Ukraine bill. Hello, Mike Lee.
Yeah, don't say that because it's true.
Naturally. I don't know how to say good day to you, sir, in Russian, but I'm still working on that. Yeah. I'm sure Vladimir can point that out to me.
Right. $95 billion. It only will take 41 senators to stop it. There are 49 Republicans in the Senate.
By the way, the vote cleared 78 to 18.
But you saw what happened in the House. They had Ukrainian flags.
Yeah, out of support. And then when it was passed in the Ukrainian Senate, they waved American flags.
It was disgusting, Mike.
Why is it disgusting? Honest to God, I don't fucking get it. Because I got to say, it seems like the fact that Republicans wouldn't engage in that is the disgusting part. That they view Russia's flag more important than Ukraine's. And so they're mad about Ukrainian flags being waved in support, in solidarity with Ukrainians. Because I guess they can't run the Russian flagpole up or bring the Confederate flag, I guess. If only these motherfuckers were this upset about the dude who brought a Confederate flag into the Capitol on Jan 6.
Yep. Celebrating a foreign flag on U.S.
No, celebrating a foreign people who are being attacked currently by an overwhelming force and celebrating the fact that we are there to support them. They didn't pledge allegiance to the thing, you dumb motherfucker.
Soil in the legislative chamber of the United States government seems kind of odd to me, but not nearly as odd as the fact that we're shelling out $95 billion with a B at a time when we don't have that money, so it's borrowed.
Also, Mike Lee wants to scuttle Social Security because that's his biggest debt thing, but he won't say it out in public. And when he was caught on a hot mic at a video at a fundraiser saying it, they ran from it, and Trump distanced himself from him and all that shit.
Which means we're going to print it, which means it's going to contribute even more to inflation.
No, it won't. We're not printing $95 billion and just putting it into the fucking economy, just throwing it in there. And even still, the hole from COVID still exists.
Already causing Americans to have to shell out an additional $1,000 every single month just to.
I know it's going to drive the price of artillery shells up. I can barely afford them anymore. I'm down to getting a half a dozen.
Put food on the table and keep a roof over their heads. This is an insult to the American people.
No, it isn't.
When you ask the American people what they want about this, overwhelmingly they say no. I mean, look.
No, overwhelmingly they say yes. Period. Even in his fucking state. The other senator from your state voted for it.
Regardless of what you think about what's going on.
No, not regardless. It matters what you think about what's going on. Say what you think about what's going on. Don't set it aside. Don't go, there's a lot of money. I mean, I don't care if sure, rape is upsetting. shallow graves are upsetting. Russia getting a toehold and clawing its way across Europe and attacking Moldova and Poland and all this shit next is, yeah, like that in and of itself is very upsetting. But
in Ukraine, and I intensely dislike Vladimir Putin.
You intensely dislike him? Citation needed.
I would love for Ukraine to win this battle, but you know, Glenn, we've spent
No, you wouldn't. If you would love for them to win this battle, you would recognize that we have more than enough military gear and the like to supply them with some.
$113 billion plus on this war already. Why are we sending another $61 billion?
Because it's not over yet, and if we'd have sent ATACMS a lot earlier, it would have been cheaper, but we held back because we didn't want to. We believed a lot of the, oh my God, they're nuclear power, we can't provoke them bullshit.
To that effort, when Europe hasn't stepped up. We've given more than any other nation on earth, every other nation.
We have 6 times the military of the rest, the next 5 countries combined.
On earth combined. And this is in the backyard of our European allies, who, by the way, we've been backfilling their security needs for decades.
Yeah, why wouldn't we just, let them...
Through NATO. This is...
You guys, and by the way, if obviously you guys can hear me. Yes? Audio's fine?
Their problem more immediately than it is ours. We shouldn't give another dime, especially while our own border is not secure.
Your party voted against that bill.
Well, we have a $34.5 trillion debt.
Which is, we have a $26 trillion economy that's growing all the time. So, again, tell every American who has a mortgage and doesn't have a salary that equals what's left of their mortgage that they're stupid.
And while Europe still hasn't paid up a sum not just equal to, but greater than what we've put in so far. This is shameful.
I heard somebody in the House say...
some stupid shit?
That their border is our border. No, it's not. No, it's not. Our border is our border.
Well, that's weird because Democrats voted for both would have voted for our border bill and their border bill. Also, their border is a war zone.
Their border is their border. I mean,
fuck these people. Let them get raped and murdered and that kind of stuff. Let Russia do its worst. It needs the resources so that it can feed its war machine and get rid of the rest of Georgians and Chechens and Armenians and all that shit. I mean, come on.
We're not getting any money to protect ourselves.
That's because he voted against it, and so did the House leadership.
We have a real and present danger because of our own border.
Which is what? What's that real and present danger? Is it equal to Chechnyan fighters and having rape squads? If it is, make that case. If it's a coordinated thing, as opposed to, people slip through because it's a giant border and that's always happened.
Everything that I'm reading, I don't even know. I don't even know what this is about, Mike.
That might be your reading comprehension skills are more the problem.
Other than money laundering, sending money over there and it's, all going to oligarchs.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's going to oligarchs. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's going to Olga of Kiev.
We're funding this thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're sending the message that we want war.
No, we're not. How is that? That's like saying the Me Too movement was us sending a message that we want rape. That's what this is. That's the analogy here. Are you out of your fucking mind? Of course he is.
We are talking about bringing Ukraine in and making them part of NATO.
We should have a long time ago.
Making other states part of NATO that is kind of a red line for Vladimir Putin.
Tough shit. Why do you think it's a red line? Because then they'll be safe, and he wants the ability to attack them whenever the fuck he wants. Yeah, we're thinking about giving women the right to say no legally and have some sort of legal recourse against sexual assault, and which is a red line for the Ted Bundys of the world.
And now I read today, I think it was Poland.
You think it was Poland? You read it today, and you think?
That says they're ready for nuclear missiles in Poland. What? What do you think Vladimir Putin is going to do?
Can understand that he's set up this mess and it didn't have to happen.
Exactly what we would do if you put those in Acapulco.
Well, I got news for you. A lot of other shit would have happened if we had attacked the, Cuba and the Virgin Islands and ships in the area and Central America, and had bombed the rat fuck out of it for a couple of years. We'd have a different attitude about why they would feel that way, wouldn't we? Like if they did it, we go, well, I mean, it makes fucking sense. We've been bombing the rat fuck out of that whole area.
Right. First of all, Glenn, you're wrong about the border issue. We all know that Kyiv is just a few miles away from Laredo. So
Yes.
You're mistaken there.
Yeah.
All right. That's that's sarcasm instead of a sense of humor. Great example. Thank you, Mike Lee, for a toss-off fuck you to the victims that are dying in Ukraine.
But look, the idea of adding Ukraine to NATO is itself an idea.
Careful.
About declaring war, the United States declaring war against Russia.
No, it isn't. Hey, asshole, when we got them to give up their nukes, we effectively welcomed them into NATO as a hip pocket agreement, because we said we would fucking protect them if they gave up their nukes. That's what we're doing right now. We're protecting Ukraine, and we're in this because we said, hey, give up your nukes and we'll have your back. But, Mike Lee, and again, you think nukes on in Poland are a big deal? If Ukraine had still had nukes, the fuck do you think would have happened in the 90s?
Because Ukraine, of course, is at war with Russia. And if we brought Ukraine into NATO,
they would have to make a decision about whether they want to attack all of NATO if they attack Ukraine again. They would know, hey, asshat, have they attacked fucking Finland or Sweden since they joined? They'd have to think twice, don't you think? No, he doesn't.
Would have an Article 5 obligation.
Right. Which is what has kept Putin from attacking the other countries.
To fight Russia. So,
and Russia would know this, and therefore would be, less quick on the draw, I would think, to attack Ukraine, right?
Let's just call this what it is.
Peace through strength. The uniting of democratic nations to protect themselves against autocracy.
Those conversations are about declaring war with a nuclear-armed adversary.
Why? Why does someone picking up a shield guarantee that you have to pick up a sword? Because we're not talking about them picking up a sword. We're talking about them picking up a shield. Why does that give you why does that give Russia specifically, and I would include Mike Lee in that, why would it give them the automatic go-ahead to declare war? It hasn't on the other countries.
Now, look, I know that Russia, economically and militarily, is not on par with the United States.
Right.
Nonetheless, their nuclear arsenal is.
Okay, so let me get this straight. If Iran gets a nuclear weapon, we don't defend Israel anymore. Mike Lee, go.
Their nuclear arsenal is massive, in part because they've cheated on us like crazy for decades on our nuclear arms treaties.
Oh, okay. So we're concerned about the trustworthiness of them, but so much so that we won't back someone we can trust who will be a unified force against them if they do decide to attack. So we could have, like, let's say Ukraine ends up in becoming part of NATO, and then we can put anti-ballistic missile systems in there. So if Russia did decide to launch, we have
we have a system that would blow them out of the sky before they ever even made it to the upper atmosphere. I think that would be a good thing, right?
And consequently, you've got to.
Also, Finland has a bigger border with Russia than Ukraine does, and somehow they're not freaking out.
Tread lightly in this area. And
we treaded too lightly. That's what gave Russia this opening.
Nothing says the opposite of tread lightly quite like declaring war on a nuclear-armed adversary.
Yeah. Hey, fuckwad, we're not declaring war on them. Do you know who attacked who in this shit? What the ever-loving hell is this dumbass talking about? What is the difference between saying, ladies, if you're sexually assaulted, if you're attacked, or a man in prison or anywhere else, men related, if you're sexually assaulted, just go with it because you don't want to provoke your attacker. It might make them more aroused.
It's insanity. It's insanity. We are
stupid. You're stupid. You're a stupid person, Glenn. You and Mike Lee and Stu, you're fucking dumb. You're dumb people. And you're immoral and gross.
We are in so much. If we don't turn this around with,
they're gonna kick our butts. Whatever happened to peace through strength? This is a bit pusillanimous.
Elections in the House, the Senate, and the White House. If we don't turn this around, we're done.
You're not
done. We're absolutely. This is.
Yes, I agree. You're done. We're not done. America's not done. The general public isn't done. You're done. You're done. You and the Mike Lees of the world and the MTGs, you've been selling this bullshit for a long time, and we've all wondered how long you could sell this prepper bullshit to a bunch of people and sucker them into this Ponzi scheme of the end of the world is coming right around the corner. And if we dodge this and it fucking doesn't, and your bluff is fucking called, you're done. The Blaze collapses. Who the fuck subscribes to the Blaze for another 4 fucking years when Biden gets reelected? That's reason enough for people to vote for Biden.
These actions are the actions of madmen who are, I'm
dumb.
If I was being charitable, would say they're just horribly wrong at everything they do.
Well, just for the record, if I may, in this particular case, if they're horrible at everything they do, they would have been wrong about Russia's attack in the first place. And then when it turned out that Russia was going to attack, they would have, Biden and the administration would have said they're not going to attack. And then they did. They would have been wrong about that. And then they would have been slow to help Ukraine, and Ukraine Kiev would have fallen. If they're horrible at everything they're doing, because you'll recall, no one was, insisting that Ukraine join NATO as soon as Biden was sworn in, or even in the year leading up to this shit. So again, this is another one. This is another situation where Trump is always saying that Biden's dumb and he can't put two sentences together and he can't find his way off a stage, and yet he's kicking his ass. And these assholes are they're wrong about everything. Well, then why do we have the lowest unemployment and for the longest period in 60 fucking years? Why is the dollar worth more than $1? Why is the stock market up and wages are up at the same time? Why are all the stories on Bloomberg and MarketWatch about how there's a soft landing instead of a recession? Why is your book about that 2 years ago when Biden took over, the entire world economy was going to collapse, not because it collapsed, but because the U.S. economy was going to collapse and nobody was going to use the fucking dollar anymore, and we'd be flush with it, and there's too many in circulation, so it'd be barely worth a quarter, and we're going to see Venezuela level inflation and all that shit. Why if they suck at everything, why are you wrong every fucking time? Why is, and you guys have watched this with me, Glenn Beck is always wrong. He's so fucking wrong. He writes entire books about how wrong he is, sells them, and when the shelf life on his bullshit passes, he basically just hides the book under a table like it never fucking existed. Remember when we used to do these clips a year ago, and he had his copy of The Great Reset sitting on his fucking desk right in front of that microphone so everybody'd see it? And now that book is nowhere to be seen. He randomly brings it up when he's on some other interviews in other places just so he can get rid of the giant boxes of it that are taking up space in his fucking garage. But where's the book? Where's the Great Reset? Where's Nasara Jassara? Where's the BRICS cryptocurrency? Where's the death of the petrodollar? How many times do we hear this motherfucker all last year telling us that the dollar's going to be worth a quarter and the petrodollar is over and BRICS cryptocurrency is going to be is worth, that's why you should buy Bitcoin now, right before it fucking crashed. My fucking God. He's it's amazing. Like, I'm almost ashamed at how right I am sometimes. I'm a little embarrassed by how right I am, how often I'm right. But this guy's never embarrassed at how wrong he is every fucking time. And it's even beyond just his materially being wrong. He's wrong about the morality of it too, not just the tactical, but the philosophical, the spiritual, the ideology behind his belief systems is so fucking degraded. It's so putrid. It's amazing to me that maybe he can't look himself in the mirror. I don't know how it works there. Maybe you have to be that kind of like Tucker Carlson fucking deluded to even have a show like that. Lord Almighty. Now, all of the, let's see, and I think we have, if I'm not mistaken, I'll try and find this guy. Yeah, audio is good. Thank you. Thanks, Andrea. It is. He's not. By the way, he's not the only one. This whole like we're on the precipice of World War III bullshit is just like they just float this everywhere. And it's garbage. It's so untethered from fucking reality. And it's the new, like, migrant crime didn't scare people enough. People are now recognizing that there are isolated incidents of terrible things that happen, just like there is at any time in human history, and that these guys are using it for political, as a political ploy, but not because they actually give a fuck. The gateway pundits filing for bankruptcy. See? There is a God. Kent. All right. That's awesome. So let's see, because I think there was another one of these where they're like, we're World War III. I mean, we see it a bunch all the time, like the fucking redacted people and all that shit. And this, yeah. Yeah, this, I hope you know. Well, here, I'll show you. Like, there used to be a time. Work with me. You're watching Hal Sparks Megaworldwide, by the way. Like, subscribe, share the show, let people know, help us out. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks, etc., etc. Infotainmentwars.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel today. And if you're on Twitch and you got Amazon Prime, you can subscribe and it doesn't cost you a dime. Helps out the show. Anyways, there was a time when there was a little channel, if you'll recall, kids. There was a channel called RT. Russia Terrorism. No, Russia Terrible. Russia Transnistria. Russia, take it all off. It was Russia Today. And Russia Today, at the beginning of the Ukraine war, shuttered their own doors. They were not closed by the federal government. The U.S. did not kick them out. They packed their shit and left because they had a feeling that while they could arrest the people in their studios in Russia that weren't for this attack, it would be very difficult to do that in the United States. They might have to spray something in somebody's face as they walk through fucking Central Park, but they wouldn't be able to, by VJ Kodak, or are you saying that to somebody else? Anyways, real quick, there was a guy on there, there were a few people on it. They knew that a couple people would go, I'm not for this. I'm for everything else Russia does for some odd fucking reason, including snuffing people in parks in Germany, that I can let go of. Because I have some affinity for the USSR formerly, because communism could have worked if it was just run by nice people or some shit. They're stuck to that. And Lee Camp was one of those people. He was one of these people who was allegedly for, big on, Medicare for all. He was one of these people. He was very he was considered what a Sanders lefty, right? On RT. This is the thing he sold. Now, I gotta say, I have to question the legitimacy of that label that you would put on yourself in that situation. Thank you, Tabitha. One of those things, right? Because, and Peggy, thank you for gifting the subs. If you have on this guy, that's Lee Camp, and he's having this he's having Scott Ritter on, or he's playing a video from him. I think he's actually interviewing him. I haven't seen this. But how Iran is completely winning Scott Ritter. Now, for those of you who don't know, Scott Ritter was in Navy intelligence. He ended up being assigned to Russia as part of the IAEA and was, part of the securing nukes crowd or whatever. And then oddly enough, after that, came back and decided he was just going to try and fuck a 15-year-old and arranged to have sex with that 15-year-old over the phone, and showed up and had his own To Catch a Predator moment and went to jail for just 2 years for trying to fuck a 15-year-old who turned out to be a cop. And one would think, in this world of 8 billion people, that someone like Lee Camp might be able to find somebody to back him up on his bullshit pro-Iranian, I don't know, blatherfest that wasn't a pedophile, right? Again, this goes to that sort of Trump idea that he keeps bringing up Dershowitz and these other two dickheads, but everybody believes that the case against him is bullshit, but he can only remember the name of 3 guys, one of which was friends with Jeffrey Epstein and defended him and 2 of them defended him in the impeachment trial, right? But everybody else, there we go. So, checkmate for Iran. This is him saying this, and we'll see. Maybe this is an interview. If it's an interview, it's grosser than if he just plays the clip. If he plays the clip, then fuck him too, but here we go.
Proves to Israel.
Oh, nope, he's talking to him. There you go. That's all you need to know. This guy, who's apparently at some point was in the Sanders camp, in theory, believes that this guy's voice is one that needs to be heard. By the way, who's also been as wrong about this shit as Glenn Beck has been about the Ukraine war this entire time. It's one of the reasons why he shifted to Israel and Gaza, because he's a fucking tick. He's a barnacle on the whale of war.
That Iran can destroy any place in Israel anytime it wants to.
Well, apparently not, because they flew, 30 drones and missiles and didn't? So they just didn't want to, I guess.
No place safe in Israel.
Former UN weapons inspector.
And current pedophile.
And
convicted pedophile. It's right there in front of you. Lee, it's right there on the paper in front of you. Just look straight ahead, and there's a wiki article in front of you. It's probably up in a little window to your left, mixed with whatever you're talking to him. It's right there. Just go down a little bit, and you'll find the part where he's a convicted pedophile. He's a convicted pedophile, Lee. Lee, he's a fucking convicted pedophile.
Incredibly informed individual.
Okay, yeah, same thing. Incredibly informed individual, also a convicted pedophile. Maybe that's true to some extent. I honestly wouldn't know the first thing about arranging sex with a teenager as an adult. I'm sure he could teach us all he's probably got a PowerPoint on his computer right now, Lee. Why don't you ask him about it?
Scott Ritter. I wanted to get into what just happened a few days ago.
Yeah, because definitely don't bring up what happened in, 2015 with him?
Iran strikes back against Israel.
And nothing happens.
After Israel blows up their consulate, killing many of their people. If you listen to the American take on this and the Western take on this, it is, oh, wow, Iran lost. They couldn't get through the weapons shield for the most part, 99% shot down. And so, wow, what a big win for Israel.
Right. And it's not a win. It's only a win if your people get killed. Yes, that's Scott Ritter. That's Lee Camp. At this point, Lee Camp is now pedophile adjacent.
Anyways.
and happily so. Apparently very impressed with this convicted pedophile. Caught on tape, soliciting sex from a 15-year-old, arrested, charged, convicted. Not alleged, actually convicted. So you can only imagine the shit he was up to in fucking Russia when he hung out there.
It's exactly the opposite. Can you explain why?
Yeah, explain how it was actually a loss for Israel that 3 of the missiles landed in the middle of the desert and no people ended up getting killed.
First of all, Israel and the United States have for some time now been collaborating on building a ballistic missile defense system for Israel, not just to withstand the short-range rockets from Hamas and to a lesser extent
What? Okay, the editing in this is fucking weird.
Hezbollah. It was basically because of what happened in 2006 when Hezbollah, during that short August war with Israel, pounded Israel nonstop with rockets, and Israel had no defense. Since that time, Hezbollah's upgraded its arsenal with the assistance of Iran and its own indigenous capabilities, so that they now
indigenous capability. Yeah, that's right, because they have mortar trees that grow in Lebanon.
Possess
indigenous capabilities. Yes, these are shaman blessed anti-Jewish apples that they chuck.
Longer range missiles with very accurate warheads.
No, they aren't. They don't even have warheads, dumb fuck.
And so
it's not even how the munitions they've been firing lately have been firing. Like, I don't know, maybe he's from an alternate future.
Israel and the United States have been building this ballistic missile defense.
The Iron Dome, yeah, we're familiar.
Structure, but it's not even geared to Hamas and Hezbollah. It's specifically for Iran. It's specifically to counter the Iranian medium-range ballistic missile
okay.
threat. The United States has deployed some of its most advanced technology, both in terms of an X-band radar they have stationed at an airfield in southern Negev Desert, Nevatim, one of the targets, by the way, of the Iranian attack, but also
that they didn't hit. You mean one of the places they didn't hit? They were pretending to shoot at, but they missed.
We plug it into our
breaking news. I'm sorry. What's part of the breaking news? What is this? Which part? The part about Hold on. How do I check? WAPO, Rudy, Eastman, Christina, Bob, others indicted. Ah, yes. We'll break away from our Pedo Watch 2024 and go straight to the Washington Post. Thank you, chat room, who is reporting that the breaking news. This is so. Here we go. Oh, this is just lovely, isn't it? Hold on. Let me slide this up here real quick. Meadows, Giuliani, and other Trump allies charged in Arizona 2020 election probe. Thanks, Yvonne Sanchez. Great work. Oops. An Arizona grand jury on Wednesday indicted 7 attorneys and aides affiliated with Donald Trump's 2020 presidential campaign, as well as 11 Arizona Republicans, on felony charges related to their alleged efforts to subvert Joe Biden's 2020 victory in the state, according to an announcement by the state attorney general. What? Is Joe Biden about to win Arizona again? How many times is this? 37? Those indicted include, but are not limited to, I guess, former Trump White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Ooh, he'll be a good state's evidence. Let's see if he rolls. Giuliani, Jen Ellis, John Eastman, Christina Bobb, ouch, top campaign advisor Boris Epshteyn, fuck that guy, and former campaign aide Mike Roman. They're accused of allegedly aiding an unsuccessful strategy. And again, same thing with the insurrection, if I do say so my damn self. Is to be, break out the popcorn, everybody. That a lot of people will say, was it an insurrection on January 6th? No, it was not. It was a failed insurrection. I don't give it credit where credit is not due. Let's see. They are accused of allegedly aiding an unsuccessful strategy to award the state's electoral votes to Trump instead of Biden after the 2020 election. Also charged are the Republicans who signed paperwork on December 14th, 2020 that falsely purported Trump was the rightful winner, including former state party chair Kelly Ward. State Senators Jake Hoffman, Anthony Kern, and Tyler Bowyer, a GOP National Committee and Chief Operating Officer at Turning Point Action, and the campaign arm of the pro-Trump conservative group Turning Point USA. Trump was not charged, but he is described in the indictment as an unindicted co-conspirator. Boy, he could get indicted real quick though if the rest of these fuckers decide to give him up. Frankly, this is bullshit. This was Rudy's dumb idea. Fuck this. The indictments cap a year-long investigation by Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays, Democrat, into how the elector strategy played out in Arizona, which Biden won by 10,457 votes. Arizona is the fourth state, after Michigan, Georgia, and Nevada, to seek charges against those who formed an alternate slate of presidential electors. As those cases slowly make their way through the legal system, Trump is again running for president, and officials in Arizona and other battleground states are preparing for another likely contentious election. That's a good way of putting it. In releasing the indictment, May's office redacted the names of all the individuals outside of Arizona who were charged until they had been served their indictments. Ouch. So they all had to be served first. It's just, they've all gotten this paperwork over the last couple of days. It explains their misery. The Washington Post was able to identify all of them through the accounts of their alleged actions described in the indictment. Yeah, because we've all been following this along. Like, oh yeah, that's who that is. Shit. Many of those involved in the 2020 elector strategy, which played out in Arizona and 6 other states, have long insisted that the tactic was legal because the Trump electors were only placeholders to be activated if legal challenges to Biden's win were successful in court, or if they ever managed to hang Mike Pence. That would have also been the other, that was plan A. Plan B was, I don't know, legally it could work, I suppose, if we find somebody stupid enough. Plan A was kill Nancy Pelosi, hang Mike Pence, take over the Capitol, and force them at gunpoint to accept our electors and reinstall Donald Trump as president. That was plan A. It was a shit plan A, carried out by morons. I will give them that. But it was their plan A. Let's be abundantly clear. But Mays charges that Trump's allies inside and outside of Arizona intended all along to use the electors to falsely claim that the outcome of the election was in doubt, facilitating an effort to obstruct the certification of Biden's victory in Congress on January 6th, after they were done hanging Mike Pence from the gallows they built on the lawn. Unlike probes by state prosecutors in Michigan and Nevada, Mays took a top-to-bottom approach with her investigation, similar to prosecutors in the Atlanta area. Mays targeted not just local conservatives who carried out the plan in Phoenix, but also out-of-state middlemen in Trump's orbit who allegedly helped put it together. But unlike in Georgia, Mays did not try to indict the former president. This is a second round of charges for Meadows, Giuliani, Ellis, Eastman, and Roman, who were indicted alongside Trump in Georgia last year. Ellis pleaded guilty in October to illegally conspiring to overturn Trump's 2020 election loss in Georgia and has been cooperating with prosecutors. Guess what? Jenna Ellis, come on down. You've won an all-expense-paid trip to Phoenix, Arizona, a true hotspot in America, if anybody who's been there has actually told you, and a nice place to settle down if you're in the tech industry, considering the Biden administration has invested somewhere in the order of $9 billion in Arizona, especially around the Phoenix area, adding chip factories so that we no longer have to rely on chips being made in Taiwan or China. Ahem. Now, top 2024, he's been charged with alleged action. Mays' case has been squarely focused on local conservatives up until last year, when Arizona prosecutors and investigators met in December with Kenneth Cheesebro, an attorney and architect of the elector strategy, who pleaded guilty in Georgia in October in a single felony. Blah, blah, blah. Cheesebro provided Mays' team with records, some that had been previously unseen, that reveal more information. Ooh, I like a hot link that says more information, don't you? Ooh. Reveal it. Pro-Trump lawyers central to alternate elector plot settle Wisconsin lawsuit. That would be that's good stuff. 2 attorneys who advanced the strategy to try and overturn have settled the thing with as part of the settlement. 2 lawyers, James Trupis and Kenny Cheesebro in Wisconsin, an architect of the plan to try and invalidate Joe Biden's win by convening Republican electors in 7 states, released on Monday a trove of their communications about their work after the 2020 election. It's just so good. It's the laundress mats. It's the laundress mats. The attorneys also agreed to not facilitate or send documents on behalf of future presidential electors who are certified who are not certified as true electors unless there is specific language that the electoral votes could be counted if legal challenges result, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Trupus and Chesbrough did not admit to liability or culpability for their roles in the elector strategy record show, which is part of their deal. We don't have to admit it. It's like pleading nolo contendere, right? No contest. Trupus agreed to pay an undisclosed financial settlement to the plaintiffs. Trupus and Chesbrough did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Well, in their defense, they are they're involved in other ongoing investigations that may, so the limits of their agreement may not allow them to talk about this shit openly. So it's fun. So the agreement comes on the heels of another illegal settlement in Wisconsin by the same plaintiffs with 10 Republicans who falsely purported Trump was their state's winner. In December, they agreed to withdraw their inaccurate filings. Ooh, inaccurate. That's a very, very sweet way of putting it. Acknowledge that Biden won the presidency and not serve as presidential electors in 2024 or in any election where Trump is on the ballot. That civil settlement marked the first time pro-Trump electors had agreed to revoke their untrue filings and not repeat their actions in the 2024 presidential election. You're going to have to get a whole new group of dum-dums to come in and do this. I got to tell you, chat room, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Hi, neighbor. That's just lovely. We'll probably have to find tomorrow or the next day a Rudy Giuliani interview to see if if some of his panic comes out. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be out there, right? You think? I mean, come on. This is good stuff. By the way, I went super long last night, so since I'm getting near the tail end of the show, I'm going to cut it off at 5 like a normal person because I had 2 shows today. And we had quite the show early this morning with the Major Ojeda from turnleftpack.org, and then of course Philip Bittner, who's gotten some good news for the first time in months over the last couple of weeks with the passage of the Ukraine aid and the signing of it into law by Biden today. And I think that's. How about, let's see, I'm going to find this piece real quick. Find a...
All right, surprise!
Hold on.
The job, projects. As a gift, by the way. I know how to put them on.
Oh, that's the boots part. Yeah, sorry. 1 second.
Look.
Hold on.
But I did a terrible thing. I think it was 50.
Hold on.
For those Fortune 500 companies, 40 of them, I think it was 50, who didn't pay a single penny in taxes, made $40 billion. Guess what? I did a terrible thing. I made them pay 15%. And we cut the deficit by $70 billion.
I like that one. That was a good one. I did a terrible thing. I made him pay 15%.
Look, now Trump is saying if he gets elected, he wants to give another. By the way, that tax cut expires next year, okay? Well, let me tell you something. It's going to say expired and dead forever if I'm elected. But anyway, he wants to give another massive tax cut for the wealthy. And he also says he wants to cut your Medicare and Social Security. And you're going to let him that happen? No, hey, by the way, these guys mean this stuff. They mean it. And the Republican caucus went ahead and said they want to do that too. Look, folks, I remember there used to be 2 parties, real parties, but this ain't your father's Republican Party. This is a different breed of cat. Look, I got a better idea. I'm going to protect Social Security, Medicare, by making the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share of Social Security. No billionaire. Look, guys. No billionaire, and there's 1,000 of them in America, 1,000 billionaires, No billionaire should pay less in taxes than a teacher, a nurse, a construction worker, a police officer. Guess what? You know what their average tax rate for a billionaire in America is? 8.3%. That's what they pay. I'm serious. I'm serious.
On the profits, by the way, not on their revenue, not on what they take in, on their profits.
Look, if we just charge them 24% in their tax, which isn't the highest tax rate, we generate $500 billion over the next 10 years. Allow us to significantly cut the deficit, allow us to move all, have daycare, allow us to do so many things to make the country stronger. I want to point out one thing. It's a little off point, but I want you to remember it. I asked the Treasury Department, because I was getting all this compliment and from some criticism about being so pro-union. I said, what happens to wages generally when unions have to get paid a decent salary? Everybody's salaries goes up. Everybody. You grow the economy. You grow the economy. You grow the economy.
That's right. That's bottom up and middle out. That's the idea. It's, I got to tell you, I don't want to hear any lesser of two evils horse shit. And I would like to remind all our uncommitted friends that when asked about Gaza, Donald Trump had a very simple statement. They asked him what he would say to Netanyahu. He would say, he said, you gotta finish the problem. That's what he said. You gotta finish the problem. What do you think the definition of the problem is in terms of Gaza and the people there in Donald Trump's world? What do you think? What do you think he thinks would be the best way to finish the problem? And I would say to Sanders and a couple of others who didn't sign on to the aid package because it included aid for Israel, it also included billions for support for civilians in Gaza. And when this shit is all over, you bet your ass that Joe Biden and Democrats will be for helping to rebuild Gaza after this and provide civilian infrastructure for those people. Do you think for a fucking split second that the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world and Donald Trump himself will allow or want one fucking penny of American tax dollars, even in the form of loan guarantees, to be spent rebuilding homes or hospitals or schools or buildings or fucking, I don't know, UN centers in Gaza for one fucking second? Do you actually fucking believe that? That they'll let one penny be spent helping the people of Gaza or Palestinians who are now not under the thumb of Hamas anymore? Or, honestly. And anybody who voted against the aid package because it had Israel aid in that also voted against the Palestinian aid. You voted against Palestinian food, medical supplies. You did. Because you didn't like that Israel getting some stuff too, while they just got attacked by Iran with long-distance missiles and drones. And you're like, you know what? I hate them so much. Let the Palestinians starve. That's the mentality of not voting for the aid package because of the Israel provision in it. Yeah. You may disagree, Mr. Webb, but that's the fact. That's what was in there. And you don't get to just, your protest vote has to include all of it. You don't get to just do your protest vote because it didn't have that part that I don't like in it. And by the way, the Senate voted for all three packages, Taiwan, Ukraine, and Israel all together. And in the Israel package was funding to support Palestinians. So if you voted against one part of it because you can't in good conscience do that, you cannot vote. You voted against the other things as well. That's just the reality of it. And I have no idea what kind of a lunatic you would have to be to think that Donald Trump will supply and not only not help rebuild Gaza after this, or supply them with medical supplies or food while they rebuild it themselves. Even to believe that Trump would allow those money to be spent. But on top of that, do you think he would not insist on, furthering the pressure to empty out Gaza? And again, in the Israel part of the supplemental, there were funds for Palestinian both food and medical supplies, and to support that pier that's being built and brought in, and the airdrops. We're supplying materials to the French who are doing airdrops in the area of food and medical supplies. Donald Trump would cut all of that off. So your decision is very binary in that situation. And I got to tell you, if the TYT ideology of if we don't get everything, nobody gets anything, that shit, if that's your way of thinking, this ain't the show for you. It's not. And there's plenty of people who believe that elsewhere. There really are. There's lots of other channels where they go, you know what? If it doesn't have everything I want, fuck them. If we don't have single payer, all the people, the 24 million people that were helped by Obamacare, they should just take one for the team and die. Because that'll show them. Won't be me, obviously, because I have a job and I got, my boss provides us with healthcare or whatever. But those fuckers, the ones who don't have it, fuck them. They should suck it up and pass away so that we can show how important it is to get this through, which I don't even have a need for right now. Like that's the thought form. Love you guys. Please take care of yourself until I see you again. Tomorrow, Thursday show afternoon is obviously an hour later. It's at 4 p.m. I'll post a little reminder for all the new folks that are out there. And of course, we have a morning show on Friday, but no afternoon show because I'm flying to Philadelphia for the Sexy Liberal show. And so I won't have an afternoon show that day, but I'll be there in time to set up for radio, and hopefully I'll be able to do radio just fine this time, fingers crossed. Because I want to have Phil on there because I know some of the aid is going to be arriving by Friday, and I would like to see, and I think you would too, like to hear from him as it arrives on Saturday. So appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Oh, and real quick, before I go, can I show you something? I'll show you something. This is a thank you Patreon folks moment, if I could. This one real quick. Okay. So one of so thank you Patreon and Super Chatters and the people who support the show by subscribing and becoming members, because this is partly what you guys help fund. Is one of the things that I've been trying to do is capture the Sexy Liberal shows so that I can post videos of them afterwards to patrons and other folks, or if there's a joke or something in it that I won't carry through to the next show, I can put it up and right so you guys can see it. But some of these places have rules about what you can shoot and how much, right? And it's like you have to pay a fee to be able to do it. But apparently, I found out last time that we have they'll allow small stationary cameras in some cases for us to be able to shoot parts of the show. So none of the cameras that I have are small enough to put in there where they wouldn't obstruct somebody's view, or that it's, if I put it far in the back, I can't run it because I'm on stage and we'd have to bring a tech or whatever. So I invested in this little guy. This is an Insta360 line camera. It's like a little action GoPro kind of camera. It's fine. Everybody's like, oh, well, so what? There are, there's GoPros, and why don't you just use one of those? Well, that's because this little guy pops out and it's magnetic. So at the show, backstage and around stuff, I can pop this fucker up on a wall and pick up some video that's backstage and stuff that's just for patrons and for people who have supported the show and that kind of thing, and stuff that I can post to promote the show because we need all the help we can get promoting. And so I decided I went for this guy, and this would be a good way to do it. And so there you have it. And it's got a little, like, this one's really tight. It's got a pop-up screen on the back so that you can, hold on, I'll show you. I've got a special safety case on it so that I don't break it. But the point is, there you go, like this, see that? And so that way I can get video backstage of Frangela and John and Steph and the producer that's trying to kill Steph for the insurance money, and post that up. And look, there you guys are. Look, it's you. This is what you guys look like. Isn't that nice? You can't see it today. So I got this thanks to our patrons, and so that I can get video of this stuff to the patrons specifically for that reason. So thank you guys so much, and I will do my best to get this, not just the footage from that, but also at the Ultimate Jam Night and that kind of stuff. This will help immensely with that, so appreciate it very, very much. And it will be, apparently, and I'm going to test it, but it should work as a secondary webcam as well for when I'm on the road, if I need it for wherever we are doing the show. If I have if John or Frangela want to be a guest on the radio show or on the stream, if I'm around, that this will also work for them. So wish me luck. I'm going to try it out this weekend, and hopefully it brings us a lot of good footage. And I appreciate you guys for helping make that happen. And that's there you go. You guys are wonderful. So take care. I'll see you soon. Oh, and one more thing.
I agree. I'm a dope.
Oh, yeah, that's normal.
Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
A lot of very bad things are happening in Nicaragua.
Butthole!
I don't know. I'm not good with that.
Company that his son worked for, that's Pyramus. But to me, Corona means Italy.
I'm telling you straight. It's my way or the highway. So anybody who wants to walk, do it now.
you.